Hello and welcome to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Today is January 12th, 2022. This is episode 459, I believe. Okay, if you haven't noticed already, what we're going to look at is The Rush. This is Spurrier's exciting supernatural story coming out of the Klondike around the turn of the 19th century, so about 1900, right around there is when this takes place. And basically we have a mother, and she's looking for her son, who has gone missing in the gold craze time of the Dawson and Dawson City and all the other things that are going on there. Everybody trying to claim a stake, trying to get rich quick. And with it, they have brought their spirits along. This is number 2 in the series. It comes out from Vault Comics. This hungry earth reddens under snow-clad hills. So this is a recommend, by the way. I did recommend the first issue as well. I do have one thing that, or I should say it's a little bit of a difficult read because Spurrier has written this in dialect, meaning he puts apostrophes, breaks up words, depending on the different, socioeconomic status of the person talking, or perhaps the slang of the time, or perhaps the words that are coming from their country that they would of origin. Because you have immigrants, you have all kinds of people going up there. Some of them more learned than others. Let's take a quick look at who worked on this. Like I said, this is Vault Comics. They've been putting out some pretty good comics lately. I've been pretty happy with some of them. Spurrier is the writer. I mentioned him before. Nathan Gooden is the artist. He's got a very striking style. Addison Duke is the colorist. And Hassan Otsmane-Elhaou, if I said that right, is the letterer. Now, another thing that is tough to read on this, or at least for me, my eyes aren't the greatest, but I can get right in here. You can see some of this lettering. It's kind of this strange script at times, and sometimes it's very, very small and difficult to read. So my darling boy, and then we have this guy getting shot. So you can see how striking the artwork in this is. And what we're finding out is not only is it the men's greed killing each other off, but it appears to be also things that they have brought with them from their cultures. Strange things, like your Wendigo. I can't think of it, like something like the Pixies or something like that. Things that do mischief, cause mayhem, seem to be abound in this landscape here. Out in the cold. They're at a place called what was it called? Not Bloodhoof. Something like that. Maybe it's Lovehoof or something like that. And it's kind of a trap. People get there and they really don't leave there alive. Our main person here, Bridget, has hired a man to take her up there here he is right over here, to show her the way, kind of be the trailblazer for her. She's talking to a Mountie that kind of got them out of trouble in the first issue. And they're back at the lodge, and she wants to go check out what apparently was her son's claim. There you go. Got to it. Part 2, the claim. So she has these fitful nightmares, different kind of images of her son. He was only like 15, so he wasn't old enough to legally own land. So what we find out in this book is that he got his father's name on the claim. His father had gone with him originally, but had left him behind when he was just sick of the cold. He left, and he's in Skagway, some 400 miles away. So Bridget is bound and determined to find her son. That's all she really wants. She doesn't really care about the claim. Now, there's some weird stuff that goes on in this claim, and there's a lot of talking that goes on as well. We find out why the person that's helping Bridget is going up there. He's trying to strike it rich himself. Apparently he's been trying to strike it rich for some 20 years, so he would be socially accepted as a rich man. But in the meantime, there's been other things going on up there, as you can see in this image here. There's a man in a bowler, an apparition at least, and he's being followed by some kind of ghost spider that seems to take the heads of the victims and just takes the bodies away sometimes, spins them in webs. But in this issue, we find out that there's other creatures, other monsters, and other madness. As you can see here, this man digs into his skin and pulls gold out of it. So there's a lot of little creepy things in here, but it is a little bit of a tedious read. For some of the wording on here is sometimes it's easier than other times just to make out what they're saying. So we're halfway through this, and you can just get a good look at some of the stuff that goes on. It is fairly action-packed. There are some moments where they talk a lot, but when they do get the action, it seems like a lot happens, and the story is really pretty flowing. I'm hoping it will keep up like this and it won't linger on too long. I'm hoping maybe a 6-issue run on this. If it goes past that, I think it might get a little tedious since they're just in the cold wastes. But she's already found the claim located. She's told she'd give the claim to the man that's helping her find her son. She'd give it to him, make him a rich man. She just wants to find his son. She doesn't care about the gold herself. So that it seems to be, if you're not in it for the gold, that there's a good chance that you'll survive. That the wilderness or all the wild monsters, here's a giant ghostly elk out here that suddenly disappears after chasing her. And she finds her son's Bible in the snow at this point. Meanwhile, the 3 people that took over the claim, they are all struck down by this mysterious man in the bowler. And you can see there's the big spider following the man in the boulder, pulling the 3 that had stolen the claim away. So they never see this happening. And that's one of the things is you try not to, if you don't look and see, then typically you're usually okay. Now she's paid this one lawyer here to go back to, he's leaving anyway, to go back to Dawson and find out whether or not the claim is registered in the name of her, actually I think her name's Nettie Bridgeford, I was calling her Bridget, in the name of the father. And she's paying him this chunk of gold here. And as she turns her back, suddenly he's ready to take off with the dog sled. Suddenly something happens to him, and there's a new monster that we don't know what it is, but it tells her, don't turn around. So we don't know what's going on with her. It's got some kind of claw arm and just took down the person she paid to go check out the claim for her. So it looks like everybody's kind of doomed in this place. They can't get out of it alive, and it's to be continued. Here's the cover for the next issue. So yes, this is a recommend. It is a little tough read. I'm not going to fool you. It took me a couple days to get through it because I would just get a little bit tired. I'm tired all the time anyway, but I'd be tired out trying to figure out what they were saying. And whether or not it was part of the story or how it fit in the story. Sometimes it's just kind of regular talk that goes on between them, just a little chit-chat. So you kind of have to decipher what part is an important dialogue and what's just for flavor. Okay, they give you a little bit of a blurb here. I'm not going to read it. You can go ahead and pause and read this if you like. It gives you a little bit of a backstory and kind of just the feeling for the whole book. All right, so thank you for stopping by and listening to this review of The Rush #2. As always, please like, please subscribe. If you haven't, please leave comments, and we'll see you next time at the Temple of Tomes. This is Indie Comics Jones bidding you adieu.